Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Networking with Nathaniel. This is episode 33. We are chugging along towards the year mark at this point. I have the pleasure of being here with Amber McCollum. I met her through Shane Evans, who you could go back into the Networking with Nathaniel vault and listen to his episode. He's going to hopefully be back on here soon at some point to talk about all the things that you guys are doing together because I'm not sure if you guys had met at that point yet. But Amber is a Gator member, if you're familiar with the Gator tribe, as well as a mastermind student with a bunch of other really high level investing programs. So I'm looking forward to digging into all that you've done, all that you're doing, and all that you're kind of is on the horizon for you guys. But before we do that, I appreciate you being here, Amber. Thank you for coming. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I feel like that was such a warm welcome. I wasn't even expecting it. So I hope I can live up to this conversation that you've set up,
I'm sure you
Nathaniel. But
will.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I consider Shane a friend at this point. Hopefully he reciprocates that, and I know that he doesn't invite people in lightly. So the welcome, I think, is very deserving on your end. Um, I kind of start each episode out with what are you kind of working on? What keeps you busy on a day-to-day basis, Amber?
I think the better question is what doesn't keep me busy on a day-to-day basis. So I'm chugging along working around the clock, probably too much. I'm a workaholic. I do love it though. That's the crazy thing. I've always loved working. And so I have a regular 9 to 5 that keeps me busy. So that's separate, but I I work in government. I teach state governments how to operate federal grants.
Okay.
So kind of in the money space. I've always been a little bit in the money space, but in the real estate business buying investor space, I still focus on the money. So what keeps me busy is networking with intention. Like I love networking. I love connecting with people. I love just seeing how we can fit puzzle pieces together to do deals. Um, I'm a private money lender. If you're listening to this, please do not reach out to me about lending because I only lend to specific people. I already know who they are. So it took me a while to get there, but I have specific people that I work with. So, but I also have worked as a connector. The same people that I lend to, I help them find other partners and lenders and things like that. What else? Like I'm in a mastermind that learning how to start a fund. It's not launched yet, so
Hmm.
I'm not out of compliance by saying that at this point. Um, but we're going through a lot. Just I'm learning so much. I knew so much about federal regulations and compliance, and I think that actually gives me an edge on funding. But it's going to be a game changer. I'm super, super, super excited.
That's what I've heard from Shane's side as well. And is that something that I think I know the answer, but is that something that you guys are working together on, as far as the like fund goes?
So we're working together in a few different ways. I am working on funding with Shane. Yes, he is certainly a partner that I'm working with. And
Okay.
so yeah, we have some moves over there. He is, he has some other partners that he's working with on acquisition side, and I'm focusing on the money part of it.
Okay.
And that is potentially a fund and different things that we have going on. So I also am working with other people on
Gotcha.
building a fund. I feel like there's going to be some different iterations, and I'll probably be a fund manager in several different funds before it's all said and done. Hopefully within the next year. So
Okay.
um,
How
I
long
love
have you
it.
been how long have you been doing this on the in the real estate space now? Oh, well, be actually, how long have you been doing the government work? You might have actually mentioned that already now that I asked that question.
Quite
Although,
a bit of time.
okay.
So I worked in local level education systems, and then I worked for state government run like operating grants. So
Okay.
just managing the grants for the state, and then I'm now kind of I'm a subcontractor for the federal government, so it's the national level, but I don't actually work for the United States government. But
Oh, interesting.
yeah, so I just lean into money, I guess.
Well, I've heard it a lot, and in my experience, we didn't talk about money when I was growing up. We always just were, there's a roof over our head, there's food on the plate, um, and that was that. But I think that, people that are doing high level things, we're talking about money all the time. And I'm just getting started in the capital raising adventure myself. So like being more comfortable, not that I'm uncomfortable about it, but becoming more comfortable just talking about it. Like how much do you have? What are what terms you're looking for? How long do you want to hold, want your money to be tied up in certain projects for? Like it's a good thing to be doing. But how long are you?
Where do you meet your people, Nathaniel?
I'm just getting
Like,
started, Amber.
okay,
Um, so far, uh, so far, I've been just reaching out to all the people that I know in like literally right here. Oh, wait,
yeah, yeah,
it's there. My phone's there.
I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah. So I'm into the F's now. I just started this week. So I'd been doing,
You're going alphabetically.
I
I
went,
love that.
yeah, I just like, let's do it. Let's knock it. And I at the beginning of the day, I look, okay, how many am I looking at? So today I was like, I got to get through the E's and the F's because there wasn't quite as many there. The D's, I had a lot of Davids and Dans. So like, okay, yeah. Um, but
I love that. I haven't even thought about doing that. I need to do
okay.
that.
Yeah, that's actually something that Jesse Stanton, who you're probably familiar with, he recommended, you have this podcast, you've been in sub two for a while, reach out to the people that you know. And if you're familiar with Alex Hormozy, one of the things he says is just like touch three people in your contacts a day. And,
Mm,
you know, I I wanted to do 10x, or whatever.
of
Um,
course.
yeah. So
Put a grant in there.
yeah, that's what I've been starting to do, and I'm gonna probably, start doing some posting in different places as well, and just talking about it here with you, like putting it
Absolutely.
out there into the world. But um, how long have you been in the real estate space now, kind of raising money and for that venture?
Been in the real estate space not long, over a year, but Gator is almost a year. So
Okay.
I started out wholesaling, did not like that. And I thought, I mean, I could be, it could have been a thing, but it's just not where my heart was. And I think it's important to learn where your heart is. So you know, I'm kind of new into it, but one thing about me is I I learn fast and I go hard.
Mm,
And I have a reason for that too. Like I really I want to be financially free and independent. And I also want to make an impact. And I think that I said this at a networking event recently. I said, literally money's everywhere and you can just take it. And someone said that I do not believe that's true. Money
mm,
is so difficult. And I was like, it's not. It's really not in this country, not in with the opportunities that we have. Like you literally can take it out of the air. And what
yeah.
I mean by that is you can grow a business. You can grow money in the business. You can partner with other people and have them give you money to do things with, right? Like everybody wants to do something and I meet somebody everywhere I go.
Mm,
Right before we started this, I was just telling you I got back from the doctor's office, and my doctor today, um, literally, I just talk about everything I'm doing. And so I started. She was giving me some shots, so she was trying to make sure that I wasn't in pain. So she's like, "So what have you been up to?" And so I started talking, and she was like, "My husband wants to invest more." She was
mm,
like, "Would you like to talk to him?" And I was like, "I would love to talk to him."
yeah. Yes,
So,
please.
like there's money everywhere. There's
Yeah.
money in the doctor's office. I found money in my riding in Ubers. I talked to every single Uber driver that I'm in the car with, and two of them have panned out as far as doing deals with. And it is phenomenal. Like their people are hungry for knowledge, hungry to do deals. You just literally have to tell them what you're doing. And I don't think people believe it. I really don't. Because when I say that, people are like, I don't know how to start the conversation. I don't know. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And just breaking down those barriers to say, to talk more about money, to your point, it's like it shouldn't be an embarrassing thing. It should be taught more. It should be discussed. Help people.
Yeah.
Talking about money, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping them. So yeah, like I think you literally can take money out of the air if you have conversations and you manifest it and
Mm.
you're a good person, meaning by good, not just good integrity wise, which I'm big on, but also just good at knowing what you're talking about and being genuine and authentic and transparent. So
Mm. Yeah, like you know, what I forget what his name is, but there's another real estate investor that has a mentorship TTP, talk to people. And I've been in a couple of they just go out and talk when you're at the gas station, talk to the person on the other side of the thing, like, oh, hey, those are cool shoes. It's quickly going to come around to what do you do? Because that's like, how's the weather? What do you do for a living? Like these are the things that we talk about. And if you're like you're saying, you're willing to talk about, man, I love what I'm doing. I want to share it with everybody. And I don't know if there's a percentage there of people that maybe a KPI there, but like maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 50% of people that are like, oh yeah, I have thought about investing in real estate. Or like, I see that, the Property Brothers on HTV, GTV, but I never know how to get into it. Well, it's pretty easy if you want to become a lender, because we're going to give you returns on, uh, real assets, backed, real, geez Louise, backed by real assets. There we go. Little twisty thing there.
so yeah, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
I literally
Sounds like I need to Uber more. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
you do. It's part of it. I was at the gym working out earlier this week and I got into the sauna after the hot tub. I shouldn't have said sauna. Um, and there were two ladies in there and they were just minding their own business. But it's weird because we're all in here. Like I needed my muscles to just kind of like relax. And so I did ask them what they did. And the first person, interestingly enough, was a real estate broker. And she had her own brokerage and she, was talking all about that. And the other lady was like, hey, I'm in real estate too.
Wow.
And but different, like she works as inside of a company that does commercial ground up real estate. So they were talking, talking, talking. I was listening. I asked the question, but I was listening, listening, listening. And then I didn't even say what I did. So for the broker, I started saying, well, I can give you this, this, this. I listened to what her needs were.
Mm.
And I was like, I have a network. I said, I can solve that problem for you. And so then I started telling her that, she needs sellers basically, but also in a specific niche. And so I was like, yeah, I think I know that. Like, I think I know somebody for that. And so I was talking about that and she was getting all excited. And then the other lady, she was talking about what they were trying to do and how they need money and how they also provide loans. And so I was like, so you're in investing. And at one point, the lady that was the broker, she said, who are you? Like, you know, a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I didn't even start off with this is what I need. But then I started talking about what I do and they were both very intrigued. I got their information and like that was the gym. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You're just putting yourself out there and you've got a vision and a passion that you're comfortable talking about, and it attracts the right people to you. Um, I wanted to go back about 10 minutes or something. Uh, you have a you have a slew of people, for not being able to find the right word, that are lenders, right? You mentioned that you only lend to specific people. That I'm assuming, and you know what they say about that, that's you personally, right? Not all these people. Because if I'm correct, you've got um, I'm sorry, the toddler just woke up and he's um, groggy and fussy. Uh, you're starting this fund with the intention of what? There we go.
be in the bank. So lending to multifamily investors, that's
Okay.
what it's going to. That's what it's going to be in small business
And
acquisitions.
these are not necessarily projects that you're taking on. These are somebody like me coming to you going, "Hey, I know Amber. I saw him on I saw her on that guy's networking with
Mhm.
Nathaniel's podcast, and I know she's got a fund that she's set up. I've got this 60-plex, whatever, and that needs lending. Boom, boom.
Mhm.
And you have a connector fee or something like that built in.
No, so it hasn't launched. It's not structured yet.
Okay.
But it will be essentially it will just be a like a an SEC fund, probably a 506 C.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, sorry. What that means is it means we haven't decided actually.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
some of the funds you can advertise, some of them you cannot. So we haven't decided which route we're going to go on that. So we'll see. I
Do you have
know
to be
I
careful of
can
what you're saying
capitalize.
here?
I do have to be
Yeah,
careful with what I'm saying, but
okay.
that's why I'm like I don't.
Yeah. Well, and you
I'm not
mentioned
going to say too
compliance
much.
early on too, because you said something about like we're not a fund yet, so I can talk about that. So, and you're
Well,
very well aware
I'm
of the
just
things you can and can't say.
well, I'm kind of winging it. So I don't know for sure what I can and cannot say, but
Okay.
I know that you can. I'm talking about a mastermind that I'm in, right? So I'm in a mastermind. So I'm just trying to provide education. I'm in a mastermind called Black Card. I've paid to be in that to learn how to operate a fund. We have
Okay.
not started. We don't have all of the details. We are wanting to do a debt services fund, but no, we have not launched a fund. We have not gone through legal. We have not gone into compliance. So I am not soliciting for anybody
Right.
at
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
here. So that's what I'm saying. But I'm just telling you my hopes and dreams. My
Okay.
hopes and dreams are to eventually operate my own fund that can lend to other people.
Yeah. And is this w- as far as hopes and dreams go, would it be like you're an equity partner in the deal, or you're lending like as, hey, we're gonna help you rehab this property until you're ready to refinance out of it? Like, what would that kind of look like?
So there's so many different
Or just
types
all of
of
it?
funds. There's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
hedge funds, fund of funds, private equity. The one that I like the most and leaning towards is a debt services fund where you lend on projects for return, for a management fee. You can do equity in it if it's structured that way. Um, some of the other funds that I like are private equity funds as well. I'm considering that. There's so many different funds. I like this mastermind because I'm learning more about the technical side and the education side, and I like the connections that I'm making.
Okay.
There are other masterminds too, like Hunter Thompson's. I think they're fantastic. They are pushed a lot, talked to about a lot. They are fantastic at raising capital.
Hmm.
And I think that's wonderful. I am also pretty good at raising capital now. So I felt like I needed more of the educational side of it. So, yeah.
Okay, if we can, I definitely don't want you to get you in trouble. And it doesn't sound like that's going to be an issue, but because we're talking about hopes and dreams, SEC, hopes and dreams. Um, are, as somebody just getting started out raising capital, besides talking to people and telling people about what you've got going on, listen to what their needs are. Do you have any tips, like questions to ask? Like, do you have stuff that you ask every single person? Um, no,
No.
dang it.
I um I have tips, but I don't there's no right or wrong script, I think. Um it's more organic for me. And that's why like I just what I don't want to do and that's why I'm leaning towards we're trying to figure out what kind of filing we'd want to do because I don't want to be censored. That's the first thing. But the second thing is I think I just want to be a relationship builder with people.
Hmm.
And I start any type of my dog has done something ridiculous under here, but oh, sorry.
Now,
Um,
you might have to explain because my mind went all over the place for that.
um, I am very short And
Uh-huh.
so I have to have my chair up in order to be at the camera, which makes my feet dangle.
Okay.
And I have a little stool that I put my feet on, and my dog pushed the stool like it's all the way forward. And so
Okay.
my feet are back to dangling. So I had to put the stool back. So yeah, nothing too ridiculous, I
Yeah,
guess,
no,
but I
yeah.
was trying to spare you that boring story.
No, I like
Um,
it. Yeah. I
um,
derailed you though. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Um, so talking to people,
Yeah.
like I'll give the Uber driver story. He said his company invented the coil for MRI. So I've had MRIs. We talked about that. I was like, dude, you're super, that's wonderful. Tell me about that. What did that look like? And we had like a 45-minute drive.
Mm.
So he was telling me all about that. I was like, how did you exit? He sold it to Phillips. He kept the land, which I thought was fantastic because I was like, because he's still making money off the land, but he made a lot of money off of just selling the business itself. And I was like, that's genius. Like,
Yeah.
but you kept the land. So, you know, you're still making money and now you have all this cash. What are you doing with the money? And then he's like, not keeping it in the banks. And I was like, that's good because you'd be losing money, right?
Yep.
And so we just talk. And I was like, yeah. And that's why in real estate. That's why I'm investing. Like, because he was talking about precious metals and what he's doing. And so I was like, I feel you. Right. And so then I went into my thing, but I never told him to work with me, or I never really, I, my goal in talking to people is to make them curious and interested in knowing that it may take a few touch points before they'll want to do it, but convert them into watching me, watching my podcast, watching what I'm doing on social media, like listening to my story, knowing my success and failures. Um, and then maybe they'll want to do a deal. Maybe they won't, but maybe they'll know somebody. Maybe, like I think that the situations I've gotten myself into have been so great, but almost it's just like I couldn't even tell you how. Like it's been a maze of getting to people from other people, but just by talking about what you do consistently. That guy, I was headed to a conference and he was like, I want to talk to you after the conference. And so we're
Interesting.
still talking.
Yeah.
And he was like, I love what you do. I might want to do that. Like, I might want to put my money in with you. And
Mm.
he hasn't done it yet, but he's very close. And we're talking back and forth. I waited a little bit. Like, I didn't sound desperate. I was desperate because we had a deal going through, but I didn't let him know that because, there's always going to be other deals. And I guess that's a good tip. Like, don't come across as you need somebody's money because you may need it, but you don't
Yeah.
in some ways. Like I don't if you're to the point where you're talking to somebody and you're making it sound like you need their money, then something's wrong already. Because if you have a good deal, the money's going to come. If you have a good network, the money is going to come. So you have to trust that process. And I have seen time and time again, if you don't worry about it, the money's gonna come. So if it's a good deal and if it's meant to go through, and I'm a firm believer in what's meant to happen, it's going to happen. Now, do you
Yeah.
want to lose money? No. But if you do lose money, is it the end of the world? No. Like
Right.
I know there's been times where people have put hard EMD down and they may lose that, and that's also a learning experience. But if you can push past thinking, if your biggest fear is I don't want to lose money, and then you can step to the other side of that and say, what happens if I lose money? Is this going to be the end of me?
Mm.
No, it's not going to
Right.
be the end of you.
Yeah.
Unless you've mortgaged the house and
Yeah. Yeah.
done put everything, your whole life savings and every penny you have, then yeah, maybe that's going to be too much. But if you push past that fear of failure and just say, this is going to happen if it's meant to happen. And if I lose, I lose. And then I'm going to rebuild and I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Um, then you're just going to have so much success because you've just broken down a huge barrier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like your networking is so important because as long as I have a network and people that support me and people that I want to do deals with, like Shane and like these other investors that I invest personally with, um, that's all I need. All I need is other people to partner with that believe in me and I believe in them, and we have good relationships, and that's it. I can rebuild from anything at that point. And I have had to pivot several times. So
In
I went
the
off on a
year,
lot
and in the no, no, there's yeah, there's a lot of little nuggets, a lot of little good things to unpack there. I think the couple main points is you don't have a scarcity mindset. It sounds like you have like a mindset of abundance, like you're saying, I have this network of individuals, I have these people that I trust and believe in, and when it shows when you're talking to somebody. In sales we call it like commission breath. Like I got to get a deal. Like you can't let them know that you need the deal. You got to work your hardest, even though you need it. I got to put food on the table. Like this is how I keep the lights on. Um, I want your money. I don't need it. There's going to be other, there's a, the next person I talk to might be the person that is going to be the lender for it. So I think that's
of
a big shift that a lot of us, I still have it in certain aspects of life and business that, you have a scarcity mindset. There's not enough deals out there. There's not enough money out there. There's a lot. And Jesse Stanton has said like, there's money in your phone right now. We were talking about it, like just go through your contacts list and start telling people that are in your contacts list. You'd be surprised that your friend that you knew 20 years ago in the Marine Corps is like, yeah, I got money. I don't know what to do with. Oh, hey buddy, you want to do something with it? I could pick your brain all day about how you're navigating these conversations because you seem to be, even you may not say so, but you seem to be doing this on a high level. Um, putting together a fund, and you know your way around the ins and outs of government um, bonds and whatnot. But I want to respect your time here. What's kind of besides the fund, or maybe that's it? Like, what's the next 3 to 6 months look like?
that is going to be a
Is
lot
it?
of the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
I I'm I'm doing so much. So I think part of it is getting in bigger rooms, which I've already started doing that. Um,
Mhm.
Networking outside of my current sphere, which I've already started doing that. Um, Going back to building those relationships like deeper, which I've already started doing that. Um, it's like positioning myself for bigger things. And I think one of the things that I'm doing pretty intentionally with Shane is to build our podcast out. We've been having it in a Facebook group.
Mhm.
And so we're going to put it on other platforms and get bigger guests. I have some lined up, like some pretty
Uh-huh.
great guests that I want to bring on, and Shane wants to bring on. And so we're super excited about that. But I think we need to lay a foundation on these other platforms to do that. And so I think this year is going to be very pivotal. Um, and certainly the next 3 to 6 months is setting up for that.
Yeah. I forget the name of the Facebook group. I want to make sure you shout it out.
The name for the Facebook group is Network to Net Worth, but the
Oh,
podcast is Opportunity Alliance.
Opportunity Alliance. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, not the Opportunity Alliance. And that's the name of, and what's the name of the channel? Or is it?
The name of the channel will be Opportunity
Oh, same
Alliance.
thing.
I just bought the domain name, so but
Okay.
we haven't moved our prior podcast over there yet. So we're in the process of doing that. We'll be streaming it there as well.
I want to make sure that it gets linked in the description here and shout it out to the rooftops.
Thank you.
Um, we had a couple questions here lined up. I want to jump to those, and you like being put on the spot, apparently. We'll save the books ones for next. Um, Once your time is gone here, Amber's gone to the ether, whatever you believe in. What do you want to be remembered for?
Um, I want I want to be remembered for being generous. I am a person of faith, so I'm a Christian. I will talk about that. I want to do my best to be a live example of what a Jesus follower should be.
Hmm.
So every day is. working on that. Every day's better. Um, as far as me being able to refine that and I mean, I have bad days with it, but what I'm saying is like I would like to be remembered for just building the kingdom of Christ, honestly.
Mm.
But in terms of business stuff, like I just want to have an impact. I have goals. I have goals for just helping people and being generous. My parents are both my dad passed last year, but he was very generous. My mom is still generous. They just instilled that in me, and it feels so good to be that. And I want to just be a helping hand to people. So yeah, I'd like to be remembered for that.
I love that. I do. How are you fitting your walk in? Because you seem very busy with your physical aspirations here. How are you fitting all that into this picture?
Um, well, I have reminders I pray every day. That's a given, but I have reminders about reading my Bible. Like that's one of the things that I have to do before my head hits the pillow.
Okay.
Um, I go to church. I mean, I'm active um as far as my Christian faith is.
Mm.
Talking about it right here. I mean, I think that's part of it. A lot of people don't talk about their faith, whatever their faith is,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's like let's be so respectful of other people that, we don't say this, but I think that that is wrong. I think you should talk about who you are, whoever you are. Talk about that person. That's you. So I think you should feel bold in doing that. And so I do pretty much mention it almost every podcast I'm on. So
Good. I'm glad it came up then. I know we mentioned off camera. We were on camera, but feel free to take it wherever you want it. As long as you don't like call for hate or violence or anything like that's it. Um,
yeah.
so, the last kind of question I have is, do you have any books, podcasts, documentaries that it doesn't have to be necessarily real estate or raising money related that are interesting to you or think could help, you know, provide value to somebody besides your own.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned Alex Hermosi, and I love watching him. I also love Ryan Pineda's podcast. I've been in his group. He's been one of the masterminds that I'm in, but
Okay.
I like that he's expanded who he brings on his podcast. And so it's a lot. There's a lot of interesting people there, and I learn a lot from it. So I also watch Cody Sanchez a lot. She's got little good
Okay.
tidbits, like
Yeah.
one-liners that
Mm.
resonate with me. And eventually, I do want to be buying businesses. So yeah,
Boring businesses.
boring. Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, boring, profitable businesses.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Ryan's the one with like the really nice hair, right? Yeah.
He does have nice hair.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
got really nice hair. Oh. I think he might be the one that it's it's a it's a weird goal to have, but I think I got it from him is I hate getting my hair cut. It's a drive, it's the driving to there, it's the sitting there, having a conversation with a stranger, like the little small talk, chit chat stuff. Even though you're changing my mind on that part. Um, but I just don't like it. I'm pretty sure it's him. As soon as he started making money, he goes, the haircut comes to me now. Once a week or whatever it is, they come and they cut my hair. Because you might not know, like it's been a while since I just don't do it because I hate doing it. But
Fine. I
yeah.
think it's. I
Uh,
love your hair. I
Thank
love
you
your
very
hair.
much. I appreciate it. Before we go, I know you don't want to be reached out to about you lending money, so let's make that very clear, people. But if somebody were to want to reach out to you to be a part of the fund, or maybe is going to have a project in the future that that fund might be applicable for, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
So I am not soliciting people to be a part of the fund. I don't know what that filing will
Okay.
be. I don't know what we're going to do. So I'm going to say right now that that is a hard not solicitation for the fund.
Okay.
But if you want to follow my journey and my story and just learn who I am, please follow me on Facebook or Instagram. It's literally just my name. So at
Perfect.
Amber McCollum. Um, and yeah, I'm really trying to get Instagram to 1,000 followers, and I have like a little over 500. Facebook, I'm doing a lot better. I'm almost to like 4,000, so that's great. So do both.
Yeah. I
if
I
you like
make
it.
no promises about my audience, Amber.
Well,
Hopefully we got some people to the end here because they were interested in hearing, your lending journey. But I can't promise that we're going to get to 1,000. That's for sure. Uh,
hey, but I can give a promise. So
yeah.
one of the things that I say is you should always stay on brand, and I'm not doing that right now, but I wear money shirts everywhere I go. And at a networking event just recently, someone's like, "I feel like something's
Mm.
off. You're not in your money shirt." And so if I get, let's say within, I don't know, within 30 days of this podcast, if I get over 1,000 Instagram followers, I will give a listener on your podcast a money shirt.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
That's
an
amazing.
incentive.
Do I count as a listener?
Yeah, yeah, you count. I'll
That's
put
good.
it. I'll put you the randomizer. Nathaniel, I'll just give you one. So
Okay.
we'll just yeah,
Yeah, that's
send
what,
me
so
your.
you wear a money shirt to all your networking events. That way people, yeah, you stand out. That's interesting. I heard, I forget who it was, but he always wore like a jersey. Oh, it was JJ, I think. JJ Azizian.
Oh
He
yeah,
always wears a jersey. That way, like, oh, there's JJ over there. It kind of stands out from the crowd. But um,
yeah.
it was a pleasure, Amber. I appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
you so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
Nathaniel, it's been awesome.